Hello and welcome to The Banker. Today in studio I have with me Ruediger Geis, who is the head of product management trade at Commerzbank, and another Ruediger Senft, who is the head of corporate responsibility, again at Commerzbank. Thank you both for joining me. Brexit has indeed induced quite a lot of volatility and uncertainty in the market, and I wanted to see what your views are in terms of the effect that such volatility is having on trade finance.
You know, on the short term, for sure, uncertainty, volatility, it's standard in global business, in global trade. So, but having a long-term perspective, that really means having a long-term view, looking what can we do to cope with the requirements of a changing landscape in global trade in a sustainable way. We at Commerzbank, we really think it's core to have a sustainable way, and we try to adopt it into our bottom line of our business, and that's really what we are doing.
Okay. Another interesting element when one looks at sustainability is that the EU actually is quite the avant-garde when it comes to regulation in this area. To the point that others, we were having a chat before recording today, other markets are looking at what is being done in the EU and try to get inspired in this sense. And perhaps, Ruediger, you can give us some details about this.
Yes, we see regulation really as a key driver for sustainability as well. The EU regulation we are currently facing is a strong driver in telling the public more about what is the sustainability performance of corporates, of big corporates, but in the meantime also to smaller and medium enterprises. They will be reporting on sustainability issues in the near future as well. And this gives, for example, investors the opportunity to invest in sustainable corporations, which is, from my opinion, a very good and a strong driver.
So there is the regulation driver. So the regulators are encouraging banks and other corporates to get more involved and to pay more attention to this, but there was also a change in terms of demand. So investors also have an interest in putting their money in causes that they feel are aligned with their values.
Definitely.
How have you seen these two drivers evolving over the years?
Well, it started, the regulatory part started with bringing sustainability more to the core of banking business. And this started in 2008 already with Basel II. And in turn, banks had to implement reputational risk teams. They had to manage reputational risk. But we see sustainability now in a broader perspective. So for every corporate of a certain size, it is really a topic to face and to think about in order to manage their own future and to be able to sustain in the future.
Let me add something. You know, a couple of weeks I was here at the World Trade Symposium, and I talked to a couple of colleagues, and I asked them, is there still a business case for sustainability? And one of the guys told me, Ruediger, wrong question. The right question is there a business case without sustainability still in 5 years?
The board of the Commerzbank is absolutely sustainability focused, because reputation is a very valuable especially for us banks. Yeah. We don't have products to show our customers. We have our reputation to show our customers, and to differentiate between. The customer differentiates between one bank and another bank because of its reputation. And therefore it is the Commerzbank approach to take this serious, to take the responsibility we have as banks and financing trade serious in order to get a grip on the problems that may evolve from ecological and social problems arising from transactions that are being offered to us. Okay. So we have a very close look. We have a team that is focused on these environmental and social issues, and they have more than 5,000 checks on transactions every year in order to have the reputational and communication risk being managed. Okay.
One last question I wanted to ask you. So we covered on what the corporate and banking world are doing, how the conversation is evolving. Obviously, this conversation has also very much evolved at policy-making level. to the point where FTAs since 1993, that there was, I think, the first time that the EU included a reference to the principles of sustainability in an FTA, in a free trade agreement with another country, which was Hungary at the time, not yet part of the EU, into the body of the negotiation. So is it something that will continue to gain dominance within such negotiations? And obviously, the more FTAs we have, the more work there is for the trade financing guys.
You know, it really depends how the trade is going to change. So in our second report, we really we have a special topic on potential developments in the next 10 to 15 years. So what we are saying is really it depends. So if global economy is booming, people, governments are much more open to go for FTA agreements for all this kind of stuff. However, if for some reason international trade would collapse or would shrink, most probably we will see much more moving towards WTO agreements,
right,
or moving towards protecting your own country and doing less trade. That would have also an impact on sustainable trade.
So the way that the world will choose to trade in the future will have an impact, obviously.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
On sustainable principles.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both, Ruediger, for joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for giving us the opportunity.